Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes taught by the Tathagata, the cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Okay, so this morning what we learned is that everybody seeks two things. One is the fearlessness, or to get rid of all the miseries, and the other one is to acquire the maximum happiness. And then the question is whether or not that is possible. And this is the fact that we all, everyone, be it the males, females, or the believer or non-believers, or from this country, that country, everybody seeks these two things, the fearlessness and the total infinite happiness. So this, now, while we learn the concepts in secular context, we also need to learn the technicalities. So that we seek fearlessness, the fearlessness in a technical sense, in a technical Buddhist sense, this is known as nirvana, fearlessness, where your fears are gone. And if somebody, somebody has no exposure to Buddhism, and then you don't have to use the word nirvana, you just say fearlessness or freedom from miseries. That is what everybody seeks. Then number two, everybody seeks the infinite happiness. And this, in a technical sense, it is known as Buddhahood. Buddhahood meaning awakening, full awakening. State of full awakening. So, since yesterday, this morning, we come to know that each one of us, whatever religion that you're following, you have the capacity to awaken. Your mind has the capacity to awaken, and the true nature of mind is so pure. And if you want to know more about, say, how your mind relates more with the example of the dirty water. Dirty water, where the true nature of the water is so pure. And it doesn't really correlate with the brass statue, where you want to make it or transform it into golden statue. So you say that with the brass, the material is brass, the true nature is brass. So when you remove the brass, the statue will disappear. With the water, the true nature is not dirty. The dirt, the pollutants, they are just the adventitious nature of the water. And the true nature of water is very clean. You remove the adventitious nature, and the true nature of water manifests. So our mind resonates with that as example. And how do we know that? This next question. So for this, one book that would be extremely helpful is the one written by the great Indian master whose name this morning I mentioned to you, Arya Nagarjuna. His book, Dharmadhatu Stava. Dharma dhatu stava, Dharma dhatu, D-H-A-R-M-A, Dharma, D-H-A-T-U, Dharma dhatu stava. Dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A, Dharma dhatu, D-H-A-T-U, dhatu stava, S-T-A-V-A, Dharma dhatu stava. In English, it is in praise of the ultimate expanse. In praise of ultimate expanse. Ultimate expanse referring to your Buddha nature. Your true nature of mind is so expansive, extremely beautiful, and full of wisdom, full of compassion. And it's not just metaphorical. It's not just a story. And that's a reality. That is something that we need to discover it. We have to study more, and eventually we need to discover it. So, but we said that we all have this potential there. And this potential, how do we know that we have this? We have this. The example is fine. They're good examples. But how do we know that we have this potential? In this book, Arinigarjuna, what he said is that he gave a beautiful metaphor. He said that if you want to go to read a book, and I sent you to a room, and I said that there's a light there. You go there, and there's no light. It's so dark. You come back, and said, "There's no light." Yes, there's a light. I said, "No, I've been there." And I asked you, did you see a vase put upside down? Picture upside down? Yes, there's a vase there. Okay. So in this vase, there's a light there. Okay, how do you know that? How do you know that there is the light inside this vase? So what he said is that just punch a hole to this vase from any direction you like. Punch a hole, and from this hole, the light from inside, the light will beam forth. And still, if you are not convinced, break the vase. Then the light will flow in all 10 directions of the room. So, what is that light? That light is the true nature of your mind. That's the true nature of your mind. What is that picture? That picture is the mental defilements. These mental defilements obscure this incredibly precious Buddha nature, that seed of perfection that each one of us has. Okay, good. So we say, for example, we learn something. Yes, we know. Since somebody taught you 2 + 3 = 5. Next time, two apples and the 3 mangoes. How many fruits are there? 5 fruits. You know that now. So how come that? Where is this knowledge coming from? That person who taught you this was like a trigger, but the knowledge is coming from somewhere inside. That is where, whether you squeeze handful of sand, however much you squeeze, no oil comes out because there's no basis of oil there. Whereas with little effort, you learn something. The knowledge comes from inside. And you feel the love and affection of somebody else. Again, the love and affection comes from inside. There's something there inside. So there's so amazing treasure inside. Treasure of happiness, treasure of wisdom, and treasure of compassion is within each one of us. So our job is to activate this, to retrieve this treasure. Okay, so with this, we have primarily 2 jobs. One is to look for how to reach to the fearlessness, how to get rid of all the miseries. And number 2, how to expand the circle of your happiness to infinity. Okay, is there anybody who likes to paraphrase what I said? What are the 2 goals? It's just after lunch, right? So therefore, it may be like he's saying something, yes. But then, okay, I just want to double check if you got it. Anyone? What are the 2 goals? Raise hands. Yes. Who said it? Happiness and fearlessness. Yes. Fearlessness and not just happiness, infinite happiness. Infinite happiness and fearlessness. And what is this fearlessness referred to as in a technical sense? Nirvana. What is that infinite happiness technically referred to as? Buddhahood. Perfect, very good. Okay, so now the next is our job is to work on these two areas. How to look for the fearlessness and how to look for the expansive happiness. And the fearlessness, the metaphor that I gave you is that the, say, nightmare that you have so much of fear in you. So this fear is the result of seeing the, say, dream ghost, dreamline as objectively real. And what perceived the dream goes as real, the dreamline is real, that is ignorance. And the outcome of this ignorance is fear. And you don't want to fear. So if you don't want to fear, what should you do? Wake up. In what way waking up helps you? That helps you counteract the ignorance. What counteracts the ignorance? The wisdom. What is that wisdom? Wisdom which sees things in the opposite way, the way it is seen by the ignorance. In other words, wisdom sees things as the dream contents as empty of being real. They're all subjective real, they're all empty of objective reality. So that is wisdom. So the moment this wisdom comes to you, that's the time when you wake up. You wake up, your fear dissolves. Okay, so the question is how to wake up from the unconventional dream. Dream there too, conventional dream and unconventional dream. From the conventional dream, we wake up every day, every day. But from the unconventional dream, we have never woken up. So now is a great opportunity for us to try to see how we can wake up from the unconventional dream. What do you mean by waking up from the unconventional dream? To see things as all like dream. To see everything as like a dream, all coming from your subjective mind. So everything subjective real. What's the opposite of subjective? Objective. Objectively everything's empty. So this is what is known as emptiness. You getting it? Still, the clarity is not there. And for the emptiness, this meditation has a tremendous benefit. And where, say, initially you may have a tinge of a fear when you get the first glimpse of what emptiness is. A tinge of a fear can come to you. And if it does come to you, don't be scared. You're very fortunate. And in fact, the great many the practitioners, they leave everything, they go to mountains, to the Himalayas, to experience that, the emptiness, and many of them, they don't get that experience. And if you do get experience, simply by sitting here or in your own countries and doing your own job and meditating on emptiness, study, reflect on this, and then you feel this, you're very fortunate. And then over time, if you practice over and over again, then this fear will be replaced by acute tranquility, acute, serene, tranquil experience, which you have never experienced before. And this will give a confidence that, okay, now I found the key to fearlessness. So with this, all my fears can dissolve. They're all just projection of my own mind. Okay, so for all of you, I'll introduce my friend, Dr. Ravindraji. He's a neuroscientist and he's also doing research on the people who are meditating on emptiness. Yeah, so he's a prospective, a person who's going to take a major role in this research on meditation emptiness through his neuroscience background as a neuroscientist in a very reputed institution, NIMHANS, in Bangalore. Yeah, he's here for today and tomorrow. Actually, he's supposed to be leaving tomorrow, but he's so keen to be here for tomorrow also, and he's going to extend his travel day after. Okay. So with this, what I'm going to introduce to you first, how to get rid of the fear, how to get rid of your miseries. And miseries, let's not forget the sound of a clap. Miseries, any unease that comes to you, pain, say the feeling of feeling low, any of unease that comes to you should necessarily be because of this ignorance, which is technically referred to as which ignorance? Anyone remembers? Self-grasping ignorance, right? When did we study that? 10 years ago? 3 years ago? Huh? 2 hours ago. Okay, just 2 hours ago and still we forget. Okay, not forgotten, right? Okay, so at the moment you are just putting all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together. Yeah. Okay, so don't worry. So technically, while there are so many the levels of ignorance, and we have our own experience that ignorance indeed creates so much a problem to yourself, your family members, and sometimes the parents, when they are not so well informed about the world, about about what is going around, their children unnecessarily suffer greatly, because some of the parents, they can easily give some advice to the child who is actually a very bright child. You can give him some guidance, and the child can really thrive. And then because of that small missing link, so the child remains just an ordinary person and could not thrive. This happens. It's again because of the child as well as the parents' inability or this ignorance of not knowing the reality, the bigger reality. So the ignorance, that's what creates all the problems. So with this in mind, Buddha taught what is known as the Four Seals. The Four Seals, SEALS, seals. Seal stamp, Four Seals. Okay. And what for? It's very simple. This morning, we already read these Four Seals. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything's nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending soul is absolute peace. Do you remember? We read it this morning. You remember that? Somewhere? Where do you read? Page number 7. Page number 7? We read it from okay, just check. Which page? Is it 7 or page 8? You just check it. Okay, everyone 7? Okay, page 7. Just 4 lines are there. So profound. 4 lines are there, extremely profound. Okay. These 4 lines are referred to as the Four Seals, stamps. So just tell me, what does it mean by a government sealed a building? What does it mean by that? If a government seals a building, what does it mean? Yes?
It's a certificate somewhere that it's properly built.
It's a certificate? It's properly built. Seal the government, seal the lock. Right? Seal the lock. Prohibition, yes. Don't touch this. You're getting it? Don't touch this. This is this building, don't touch it till the government says that, okay, now you can open the door. Right? It is sealed. Okay. Freeze your account. What is meant by freeze your account? Now your account doesn't work. Right? Okay. So here, these 4 lines are known as the seals. It is metaphorically said that anybody who wants to get rid of your fears, you have to practice these 4 seals. There's no exception. Whether you're Buddhist or non-Buddhist, male or female, it doesn't matter. This is what you have to practice. Right? See, if I say that anybody who's hungry, you have to eat food. Right? Is it true or not? If you're hungry, you have to eat food. True? Not true. Otherwise, IV, right? IV is not really. Okay, so for healthy people, you're hungry, then eat food. Okay, don't say that this is according to Dorji. According to Dorji, right? If he said that if you're hungry, you have to eat food. No, this is reality. This is reality. Don't say it's Dorjiism. This is the reality. So likewise, the Four Seals say it's not about Buddhism. It's about anybody who wants to get away from miseries. If you're very serious with this, you have to practice this. And don't force yourself. Just first of all, see if it makes sense that without these four, you will not be freed from your miseries. Okay, this is what we are going to explore. The four known as the Four Seals. And if you don't want to get away from miseries, it's fine. You don't have to practice these four. Right? How many are you okay with samsara? Samsara is okay. Sometimes it's problem. Sometimes it's fun. Right? Or no, samsara is not a fun. Right? How many feel that samsara is not a fun? Raise hands. To be very honest, it's not a fun. Right? Sometimes there's fun. Sometimes. But the fun and the problem outweighs the fun. Right? One moment of the pain of samsara is good enough to nullify all the past, the wonders of your festivities, celebrations, merriments, birthday parties, picnics, and so forth. Right? They are just nothing in the face of one moment of tragedy. You agree? Right? One moment of tragedy is good enough to see the whole world as shallow, so meaningless. I have a friend who must be in his late 40s. He lost his mother around that age, at that age, when he was 40s. And I saw him like, so disinterested in everything. And one day he spoke to me, his heart. He said that, I don't know what I'm doing now. So life is so meaningless. I said, what happened? And of course, I knew that he lost his mother. And he said that the moment I lost my mother, then somehow I lost interest in everything. No fun. Parties, say the what? Christmas, New Year, Tibetan New Year, nothing. Everything doesn't make any sense. Everything is so shallow, meaningless, gloomy. And to the extent that he said that he was so close to his mother. And his mother, then he saw the actual cremation of his mother's dead body. And he said that when he see other people walking, because he saw the mother's body eventually becoming just a dust, ashes. When he saw people walking, he saw like literally he could just see like a bunch of ash moving. This is what he could see. Everything is so gloomy, totally meaningless. Okay, in fact, one moment of samsaric experience, pains, is good enough to nullify all your past experiences of merriments and happiness, joys. So the wise people will try to get out of samsara where all these miseries will stop for good. This is the meaning of the wise people. In fact, the Buddha related a story and just an anecdote of like 100 people going for a picnic on the bank of a river. And reaching there at the bank of the river, 2 or 3 people, they started to little, worry, and they started to warn other people that let's not have picnic here, let's run away from this river. And the remaining 97 people, they said, we came here for picnic, you are spoiling a picnic. If you want to run. Don't disturb the enjoyment. And 3 of them, they are struggling. They can see from the pattern of the river. River looks so nice, but from the pattern of the river, they could see that within the span of 1 hour, there's going to be flood. So they were struggling to cross the river, and finally they managed, they crossed, and within 1 hour the flood came, and then all the 97 people, they were being killed. So this is the anecdote the Buddha gave to say that what we call as enjoyments, happiness, merriments, birthday parties, and so forth, These are like the people picnic on the bank of the river, where the river is soon going to flood them to death within an hour. And whereas the 3 people, out of these 100, only 3 people escaped because they are wise enough to see what is happening after 1 hour. So likewise, those people who can think of the joys of samsara, misery of samsara, and the misery of samsara outweighing the joys, they try to get out of samsara altogether. These people are referred to as the wise people. Okay, with this, let's say that the Buddha taught these 4 seals, saying that if you really want to get out of samsara, then this is what to be practiced. And if you don't practice, don't practice up to the individual. If you don't practice this, you have to continue to suffer in samsara. If you practice this, you can exit out of samsara and all your fears, miseries of life will stop. Okay, what are the 4 seals? The first, all composite things are impermanent. Number 2, all contaminated things are suffering nature. Translation may vary a little bit here and there. Third, everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Number 4, transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Okay, the first one we said that the all composite things are impermanent. All composite things. Composite things means things which are made of material parts and temporal parts. Things which are constituted of material parts and temporal parts. What is material parts? For example, so your body is made of cells, and cells are made of molecules, and the molecules are made of atoms. Atoms are made of electrons, protons, neutrons. So these are the material parts. Parts in space. And temporal parts. Temporal parts means parts in time. Your mind does not exist in space. Your mind exists in time. Whereas the material things exist in space as well as in time. Whereas the mind, it does not exist in space, it exists only in time. So therefore, mind does not have the material parts. It does not have the special parts. It only has temporal parts. What do you mean by temporal parts? Let's say, okay, my mind is happy today. My mind is happy today. What is today? Today is 24 hours. Today has 24 hours. So this mind of 24 hours is happy, which means first hour mind, second hour mind, third hour mind. So we see that this mind that existed for one day, whole one day, can be divided into 24 segments, 24 depending on because of 24 hours, 24 segments. So these segments in time are known as temporal segments. Okay, the first segment of the 24 segments, the first one is the first hour mind, which has further 60 segments. So this is how we keep dividing them, and we see them that this mind exists in time with temporal parts. You getting it? So anything which is constituted of the material parts and temporal parts is known as composite phenomena. And for information, things that exist in this universe, some of them are the composite and some of them are non-composite. Composite phenomena and non-composite phenomena. Okay, say composite phenomena, for example, your body is composite phenomena, the flower is composite phenomena, 2021 is composite phenomena, the time is composite phenomena, and the COVID-19 is composite phenomena, the tree, beautiful tree, is composite phenomena. And what about non-composite phenomena? Both things are there, composite phenomena as well as non-composite phenomena are there. What constitutes non-composite phenomena? Anyone? Yes? Mind. Mind is composite phenomena, is constituted of temporal parts. Space? Which space?
Just space.
Okay, space.
Yeah.
That's okay, a space that we can see in between us. So this space is a composite phenomenon. Yes, over there? Language. It's beautiful. Language. What's the language? The words? The words are composite phenomena. Love. What is love? Love is a mental phenomenon, yes? It's one aspect of the mind. It's one aspect of the mind. So that is a composite phenomenon. All minds are composite phenomena. Yes.
Laws of physics, like gravity.
Oh, laws of physics, gravity. Gravity is the force of gravity. Force is a composite phenomenon. Yes. Nirvana, that's interesting. Nirvana, I've not seen that, so I cannot judge. Okay. So let's not forget. Your name? Lisa. So Lisa said Nirvana. Let's explore, right? Nirvana is something we have to explore. Remind us later on.
Non-composite space.
Non-composite space, interesting. Where is it?
Multiverse.
Huh?
Multiverse.
Multiverse, where is it? Is it the universe? Multiverse means multi-universe. Multi-universe means the universe. Universe is a composite phenomena. Yes. Emptiness. I've never seen emptiness. So this again we have to check. Emptiness and nirvana. Yes, over there. Formlessness. Where's the formlessness? The mind? The mind is composite phenomena. Not mind. What else? The space? Then? Okay, there.
Pure Buddha nature, when it's directly realized by someone who's enlightened, so it's not in conversation, it's just directly realized by an enlightened person.
Say the Buddha nature, which are being realized directly.
Directly by someone who's enlightened, so not conventional conversation.
Okay, say the Buddha realizing your mind which the Buddha realized directly.
Yeah, the Buddha realizing his own Buddha nature, pure Buddha nature, yeah.
So what is that Buddha nature there too?
Yeah,
Which one?
Not the proliferated one.
Then?
Pure Buddha nature.
What is that?
I don't know.
If you're not sure, then you don't give
I've
up.
never experienced it. I've read glimpses, so it's difficult.
Okay, so in fact, nirvana, emptiness, Buddha nature, the three things. Anything else? Yes, here. Oh, democracy, that's interesting. What is democracy? Is it the country, or the people, or the constitution? Idea again is very ambiguous. Idea in your mind, or the concept that the mind created. The concept. It's just a concept. It's not a reality. It's a reality. It's a reality. Is it a government? Democratic government, is it democratic or not? It's a system of the nation, right? System of the nation. So it can change. It can take different forms. It can change. It can change. Take different forms, meaning it can change. It doesn't change. What's the idea of democracy? Okay, this is a good question. Any new hands? Yes.
The stream of consciousness.
Stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness is a mind, and mind is necessary composite phenomena. And we'll learn about this. Yes.
Permanence?
Impermanence. Impermanence, by definition, it is changing. It changes. Impermanent. Not everything is not impermanent.
The fact that every composite phenomenon is impermanent is permanent.
Okay, fact that the composite phenomena being impermanent. Impermanence of the composite phenomena.
Yes.
Impermanence of phenomena or the composite things being impermanent.
Composite.
Is that what you call as the permanent?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, that is also impermanent.
That means at some point composite phenomena are permanent.
Composite phenomena, they're impermanent.
Yes. So if you say that fact is impermanent,
The fact of composite phenomena being impermanent is permanent, is what I'm saying? Okay, I'm saying that it's not, it is impermanent.
then it has to be permanent at some point.
No. So impermanence doesn't mean how you understand it. You getting it? Okay. So I'm glad that you have brought up several points, of which nirvana is one issue, emptiness is another issue, and then the Buddha nature, 3, and the boy there. Would you like to say something?
The mind.
No, the yellow one. Yes. Okay, the soul. What is soul? Is that permanent or impermanent? Okay, this is something that we're going to discuss. Yes.
Absence of flower on your hand.
Okay, absence of flower. This must be coming from the NMC, NDC. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, this is very important. This is very important. So we have several important points, and we're going to learn these in this 1 week. So let us say that the classifications of the phenomena. Classifications of phenomena. The phenomena meaning anything that exists. That, so for example, all the human beings that exist on this planet Earth, we can classify them into 2. Do you agree with me or not? Males and the non-males. Correct? Not correct? Hey, is it correct or not correct? All human beings on this planet Earth can be divided into 2 groups, males and the non-males. Correct or not correct? When I said 2, many people say, okay, he's going to say male and female. I don't agree, right? I said males and non-males. Is it correct or not correct? Good. Likewise, all phenomena that exist in the universe can be classified into 2, permanent and impermanent. You getting it? You cannot imagine any phenomena which does not fall under the category of either permanent or impermanent. It should be either permanent or impermanent. Now the next one, that what is impermanent, again further classified into 3. Impermanent phenomena further classified into 3. Physical form, mind, and non-associated compositional factors. Let me repeat it. All phenomena classified into 2, permanent and impermanent phenomena. Impermanent phenomena again divided into 3. Form, mind, and non-associated compositional factors. Non-associated compositional factors. Okay. Anything which is impermanent should necessarily be one of these 3. So, like for example, the flower, it falls under physical form. Like say the compassion, it falls under the mind. Anger falls under the mind. Or intelligence falls under mind. And then what about the person? The person, self, I, Dorji, or let's say the Ornella, the person. Person is also impermanent. Person is also impermanent because person is also person is the composite phenomena. Composite phenomena and impermanent phenomena, these 2 are synonymous. Composite phenomena, impermanent phenomena, these 2 are synonymous. What is composite is impermanent, what is impermanent is composite. So, what is composite phenomena? A phenomena which is composed of material parts or temporal parts. So, Ornella is composed of material parts as well as temporal parts. Okay, so that is impermanent phenomena. Now, so within the impermanent phenomena, some are physical form, some are mind, and they say the person is not mind. The person is not a physical body. Person has physical body. Person has mind. Person is not mind. You agree with me? Person has body, but person is not body. For example, you have hands, you are not hands. You agree with me? So likewise, the person has body, the person has mind, person is not mind, person is not body. So because the person has body and mind, and it is impermanent, but it doesn't fall in the category of the first. What is the first one? Form is not form. It has form, is not form. What is second? Mind. It has mind, is not mind, but it's impermanent. It falls under the third category. Any impermanent phenomena, any composite phenomena, which is neither form nor mind, should necessarily fall under the third, known as the non-associated composition factors. What do you mean by non-associated composition factors? Something which is not associated as a form, not associated as mind, and still being a composite phenomena. Non-associated compositional factors. Non-associated compositional factors. Okay. So with this, what we learn is that all composite things are impermanent. The first line of the four seals, all composite things are impermanent. The composite has a connotation of impermanent phenomena. Okay. And when you speak about impermanent, that all composite things are impermanent. Impermanence, there are two kinds: gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. What is gross impermanence? Gross impermanence is an impermanent phenomena whose continuum comes to an end. Gross impermanence is an impermanent phenomena whose continuum comes to an end. For example, 2020 came to an end already. And for example, my youth already gone, right? Okay. And what else?
Human life.
Human life, yes. Human life. One day it'll come to an end. Yeah. So what else? Let's say happiness. Happiness that we have. Yeah, we have the cheesecake, we enjoy, happy birthday to you, and then in the evening finished, cheesecake gone, right? Okay, and the beautiful moments, they're all gone, impermanent. They're impermanent. And the gross impermanence, this is something that we need to reflect on. To make our life more meaningful, we have to reflect on the gross impermanence, right? Say when I was young, when I was aged maybe like 10, 11, 12, because I lost my mother very early, and I was just at that age, one person to whom I really loved so much was my father. And sometimes in the daytime when he takes, just leans against the support and he falls asleep like this, doze off, then I'm so scared that whether he's alive or not, then I'll touch his heart to see whether he's breathing. So the point is that this young boy is scared to see the impermanence of the father, the gross impermanence of the father, that the father his life may come to an end. Okay. It's important for us to reflect on this impermanence. And so then if you don't think about even our life, so today, 2022, October, we are all together here, beautiful place here, extremely beautiful. We are almost like breathing oxygen. It's so beautiful place here. Air is so clean and very quiet, peaceful. And then the 29th or 30th or mid-November, December, how many of us will be here? Maybe a few people, otherwise the rest of us would be these scattered. Nobody, it's just impermanence. All these beautiful moments together, it's just gone. so if you think of the impermanence, then they say, for example, say that we're aging. You should be aware of this. We're aging, and there's going to be a time when this person will disappear, and that's a reality. That's a reality. Say in fact, I remember, say, one of my friends who handed over a handful of gold jewelries, earrings, what is that? Ring, just handful, and then requested me, please, they make this as offering to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. This is all coming from his cousin and the cousin's wife. Both of them passed away. And I was holding this, and in my mind what I'm seeing is just so I could hear the sound, the sound of the metal. And in my mind's eye or mind's ear, I could hear the sound of the deceased. So these are the things which once somebody put so much effort, earned the money, bought the gold. So this says, I want to make a gold ring, I want to make a gold earring, and so forth. Then I don't think when they were making these gold rings and so forth, they ever thought about the impermanence of death. And now it is in the hands of somebody else, total unrelated person. And they requested that prayers to be said for them. I could very clearly see the impermanence. Okay. So it's important for us to reflect on this. Then we see that just investing everything on gathering wealth, just the mundane happiness, this will tone down. Then you'll get some spare time for you to look for a greater meaning, greater purpose of life, about what is emptiness, how to get rid of all your fears. When you're struggling to wealth, you're not thinking about the fearlessness. You're not thinking about how to create fearlessness. Whereas when you tone down your life a little bit, the busyness of your life, or chasing after the wealth, chasing after the fame, and so forth, tone out a little bit, then you'll see that your life is more meaningful. Your life is easier, and your life is less agitated, and you will get time to reflect on the greater purposes. Okay, this is reflecting on the impermanence of death, impermanence of the things around you. And then some of you, might have that experience of the fear of losing near and dear ones. What's your name? What Vasunda said, the fear of losing near and dear ones. How many of you had that experience when you were very young? Raise hands. The fear of losing somebody who you love so much. Yes. And for a young person, this is very, very scary. Very scary. Okay, but it happens. So when these things do happen, instead of being, in shock, instead of that, think of the reality more closely. This is a reality. One day, that I too mean each one of us, will disappear. One day. Believe it or not, look at all these fossils. These are all the indication that once, like the dinosaurs fossils, several million years ago, this whole world was where the dinosaurs lived. No human beings, no Homo sapiens. And where these dinosaurs down, they're all gone. And 200 years ago, just not too far away, million years, just like 200 years ago, 150 years ago, we talk about the saint who live eternally. Where are these saints? In reality, where are these saints? We have no clue whether they exist or not exist. But what we do know is that, say the 200 years ago, maybe the world population maybe like 5 billion or 4 billion. Today is almost hitting 8 billion. And where are these 4 billion people 200 years ago? Where are these? Not even a single person is alive today, all gone. This is reality. And then 200 years from now, 150 years from now in the future, not even a single person of the 8 billion human beings on this earth will be left. That's for sure, 100%. And whether your career, your ambition, your aspirations, whether they're accomplished or not accomplished, all will be gone. This is reality. So we think about this, then you will come to a greater sense of look for a greater purpose of life. Otherwise, we're all like a guest, to be very honest. To be very honest, we're all like a guest. The kings, queens, oh, this is my property, huge property, this is my property. It's actually borrowed to you by somebody. It's just borrowed to you. You can use this for like 40 years, 50 years, 60 years when you live. When you die, you cannot take even a single piece with you. Right? And somebody's going to use it. This is the end. Say, many of the people, their properties, they know children to inherit, and then they're all, sometimes they go to the wrong hand, sometimes they go to the government. Yeah, this is what happens. This is reality impermanence. So, to reflect on the impermanence, this is extremely, it makes your life easier to look for a greater purpose of life. What's a greater purpose? Is this just a life? And the greater purpose to look for the fearlessness and the infinite happiness. So the second one is a subtle impermanence. Subtle impermanence is to be understood as the momentariness of the composite phenomena. Momentariness, where all composite phenomena, they should necessarily go through the momentary nature. Being momentarily they're changing. So for example, all these, say the material phenomena, the world, the physical world, this is made of the atoms, electrons, protons. And if you see the world on the atomic level, we see that there's a constant flux of change. The physics explains this. This is so easy. And the mind, likewise, the mind changes so momentarily. So in all the composite phenomena, what is common among all the composite phenomena is that they undergo momentary changes. This is known as this momentary change that you see in the composite phenomena is known as the subtle impermanence. So after reflecting on the gross impermanence, then we have to move to the subtle impermanence, meditate on subtle impermanence. With this, then you will see that people who are just working for wealth, power. So these people, you see them as like small children. Say, for example, if I tell you that if you want to go for a startup, a business, right? And then you want somebody to invest, and I tell you that I'll invest. You're so happy. And how much are you going to invest? I'm going to invest $2 million. Wow, you're so happy. But it's for only 2 days. You're happy, not happy? First I said, I'm going to invest $2 million for your business. Wow, so happy. And the next I said, it's for only 2 days. Are you happy, not happy? Not happy. Why? Why not? Why not?
It's not going to last.
Huh?
It's not going to last.
No, even for 100 years, if I bought it, it's not going to last eventually. Tell me more precisely.
And
Huh?
we have to spend it?
Huh?
We have to spend it?
No. So the point is that you do whatever you like. After 2 days, you have to return that to me. So are you happy, not happy? Huh? Initially, you are so happy. Then I said that it's for 2 days. Then instantly, right, the glow disappears. So why? It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Anybody else who likes to make it more precise? Yes? Very temporary. Right? In 2 days, what can I do with this? Right? In 2 days, what should I do with this money? In 2 days. But if it is for at least for 1 year or 2 years, it's okay. right? For 2 days, what can I do, right? Okay, it's so brief. It's so brief a duration that it's not worth it to take it as a, say, like somebody's to take it as somebody investing. Although somebody invests, but not what to do with this. So, because it's too brief, you meditate on the subtle impermanence. You can feel that. That all composite phenomena, they're like too brief. In fact, what we see as, 10 years is okay. How many of you feel the 5 years is a long duration? Makes sense? 5 years is long duration. Makes sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Usually it's 20 below. 20 below, that sense 5 years is long, right? Okay. Tell me those, what you felt 2 years is very long, is like 10 years for you. Raise hands. 10 years is like 2 years. Raise hands. Who felt like that? Yes. People like me, 50 plus, they'll feel that. If you don't feel that, meditate more emptiness, impermanence. Otherwise, right, you feel that, okay, I'm still young, you already, wow. So when you reach 30, you reach the mid-20s, you feel that, oh, intellectually you feel that time is running so fast. 30s, you feel, yes, it is running fast. In 40s, yes, I am running fast. In 50s, oh, what is time, right? Wow. Okay. So this is even the duration of the time is also about how your mind projects. You getting it? So for those people who are meditating on impermanence, for them, 20 years is nothing. They think of not just 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. They think of the extension of the time in 1,000 million years, like Big Bang, 15 billion years back in time. And now go in the future, another 15 billion years. So from that point of view, what we are today as the human being, as like at the most we live for 100 years, is just so short, a fleeting moment. With this, in comparison with the 15 billion years in the past and 15 billion years in the future. In comparison to that, it's just a tiny dot. For us, we see that we're the whole center of the whole world. And you look at the world and Earth as a part of the solar system, as a part of the Milky Way galaxy. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny dot at the side of the Milky Way galaxy. And this Milky Way galaxy itself is a tiny, tiny, tiny dot in the vast expanse of the visible universe. And this visible universe would be a tiny, tiny, tiny dot within the whole expanse of the universe. So from that, we see that we're totally insignificant. And some people, when they go to the science museum, when they see the whole universe there displayed, they could literally feel that I'm so insignificant. They start to feel so low. Did it ever happen to anybody? Think of in time and in space. One. Anyone else? 2, 3, 4.
It's like I feel like when I see a huge mountain.
Yes, huge mountain. You see, you're so insignificant. Okay, so if it does happen to you, you are very fortunate. So, which means that you have some connection with these reflections in the past. So, our job is to continue with this journey. Because that finally those people who see things within the shorter range of time, and the space-wise smaller space, these are known as children-like beings, small child-like being. Those who could see the bigger the picture in space and in time, these people are known as the noble beings or evolved beings, because these beings will not be affected too much when somebody says that, when somebody says something very, something which can offend you. no, you will not be affected easily. Because that you can see things so broad in space and time that what's happening today is so insignificant. Not at all worth it for you to, fight over it. It's so insignificant, small. So therefore, where things can affect you so badly, say the loss of your, for me, loss of my mother when I was very young, and say in my late teenager, I still start, have this very strong feeling of missing my mother and so forth. This all because that my mind was so narrow, confined to this life. If you can think of your life many, many, many lifetimes, so like 15 billion years in the past, 15 billion years in the future, then what is happening in this life is very short. It's like a fleeting, moment. So that way you will not be affected as much by what is going around in your life, and you'll be a very stable person. And once you're very stable, then your mind, you can invest, you can see things more broadly in time and space, that you can think of, making proper plan, not only just for what is happening now, but for the future lives as well. So this is so meaningful. So this meaning of all composite things are impermanent. And sometimes it'll be good. Okay, let's see. So this is what I'm sharing now may be better to be shared towards the end of this course, because that you'll be more informed about many other the important information. But I don't know whether I'll remember this, so I'll rather share it here, that it'll be good. Let's say after completing of this course, you feel that, okay, yeah, now I see the world slightly differently, and I need to think of the meaning, the deeper meaning of one's life, rather than being caught up in the trivialities of life, very trivial things. Instead of that, I should be more thoughtful for greater purpose of life. And so when that comes to you, that would be good for us to sometimes spend we can't really expect to have 10 days, 20 days, in stretch holiday for you. But you can, even if you have long weekends, you can sit for meditate, retreat on impermanence. Then you cut off yourself from your mobile, all these. Just tell your friends, that the people who would otherwise worry about you, tell them that I'm going to sit for my personal retreat for this day. Don't expect any call from me, and so forth. And then you sit for your retreat, 2-day, 3-day retreat on just impermanence. And if you succeed in this, of course, we can't expect that in 3 days, some realization will come. Don't expect that. But if you're very serious, if you do it, initially it's like warming up practice for you. And then gradually, if there's a possibility for you to get 10 days, 20 days, 1 month, just meditate on the impermanence, then you see the world very differently. Sometimes you can even see these gross and subtle impermanence both. That you can see even the walls, everything as all composite phenomena as transitory, moving so fast like vibrations. This is how you can see, and it could be very scary. And then you will see that this is the reality. It's not how things are so static, nice. They're all composite phenomena. They're moving so fast. Then the sense of urgency will come to you. Sense of urgency to look for a greater meaning rather than to fight over the trivialities. That time for me to be loving towards others rather than fighting with people and so forth. Okay, so this very important part, all composite things impermanent. What is next? What is next? All contaminated things are suffering nature. Okay, so for this we need to know what is meant by contaminated. What is meant by suffering nature? Okay, this is what we need to know. Contaminated. To know what is contaminated, you have to know what is contamination. And some of you may think that I know what is contamination. This English word, I know that. But they say we should be very sympathetic, or we should be very sensitive to know the context in which this word, the contaminated things, is used. So in this context, in the Nalanda mainstream, in the context of the four seals, this contamination refers to the afflictions, mental afflictions, or disturbing emotions. Contaminations refer to disturbing emotions or afflictions. And you may wonder, what is affliction? Affliction is a mental state. It's a mental state, the presence of which disturbs your mind. Affliction is a mental state, the presence of which disturbs your mind. For example, anger, attachment, jealousy, belligerence, laziness, and so forth. These are all the afflictions, the presence of which disturbs your mind. Okay. And the afflictions in a broad sense, we can understand that in, say, three groups. We can put them into three families. One is the family of attachment. Second, the family of aversion. Third, the family of ignorance. Attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Okay. So how does one classify all these the afflictions into these three families? I'll give you the quick idea, and then you take part. You be interactive. Let's say that you dream, and you dream of. Let's say if you're so fond of cheesecake. If you're so fond of cheesecake and you did not have cheesecake for the last 2 years, COVID years, and then you dream of your mother bringing cheesecake for you, right? Very pleasant dream for you. At the next moment, right, the mother hands over the cheesecake to you and you take charge of this. The next moment, the cat jumps off the cheesecake. The cat jumps over the cheesecake and topples it. So much anger comes to you, right? Okay. Then the next, mother tells you, don't worry, I'll give you another cheesecake, right? But cheesecake is not readily available, so you have no cheesecake, and the cat ran away, and your mind is calm. Okay. So tell me, say in the dream, there are only three possibilities in the dream. One is a pleasant dream. Number two is unpleasant dream. Number three is neutral dream. Do you agree with me or not? Only three possibilities. Dream. With a pleasant dream, what happens is that your mind tends to feel attached to it. That is attachment. The family of attachment. And when it's an unpleasant dream, your mind tends to run away from it. This is aversion. And with the third, when it's neutral, you're not happy, you're not unhappy, what happens? Neutral? Okay. Can you tell me, you can see the stark contrast between these three. One is very pleasant dream, one is unpleasant dream, one is neutral dream. And there are so many similarities among these three. Can you give me some similarities between these three dreams? Number one, they all dream.
They all come from ignorance to the fact that they dream.
They're all coming from your ignorance, dreaming it. Anyone else?
They're all impermanent.
They're all impermanent. Very good.
Projected by the mind.
They're all projected by your own mind. Very good. Hey, yes. Huh?
There's cheesecake and all three of them.
In the third case, there's no cheesecake. In the third case, mother made a promise. Mother promised, but I'll bring a cheesecake tomorrow. So the cheesecake was not there. Anyone else? Yes.
They're all involved with emotions.
They're all involved. With the third, there's no emotion. With the third, there's no emotion, right? So you're just neutral. Anyone else? Yes. They are all illusion. They are all not real. Anyone else?
They're subjective.
They're all subjective. Yes, somebody said it. Anyone else? What are the commonalities among these three dreams?
Suffering.
Huh?
There's suffering in all three.
Why the third one is not suffering? The first one is not suffering. The first one is amazing. Huh? Don't make things very boring. Everything is suffering. No, the first one is so pleasant. The mother is, passionately giving you cheesecake. You're so excited, and you are suffering. If there is suffering, then where is happiness? Huh? With the second, there's no attachment. First one, there's attachment. Okay. Yes.
They all come out of familiar context.
Context. What context?
Something that we're familiar from our own life.
Okay, they all come from the imprints which we are familiar with in the life. There's a flow there. It's all just from the imprints of the past. Yes, Maya?
It's a contaminated happiness.
No, that the second one is not happiness. Second one is terrible.
It's also very
Second one, the cat jumps over the cheesecake and there's no happiness. Wow, what a fun. There's no fun. Huh?
There is the imprint of suffering there. It's not it's a contaminated one. It's not understanding how it exists. So even if it's
So this is Maya's memory of what happened 6 years ago here in this hall. Right? She attended this course 6 years ago. The memory is coming back. Okay, anyone else?
Actually, the person who's dreaming, that's another common factor, right?
The dreamer is there.
Yeah.
Fine, good. Anyone else? Yes.
There is involuntariness in the wanting it, and also not anger. It's both are involuntary.
What about third one?
That I'm still with the question marks. I'm seeing you're saying
So grab the question mark is not answer.
you're saying it's not an emotion. I'm saying it's anticipation and hence still an emotion. You're saying
Okay.
the mother saying that I'll bring a cheesecake tomorrow is anticipation.
Thank you. The lady here.
There's a gap between what happens in reality and the perception.
Okay, there's a gap between the reality and the dream. In all these three dreams, they don't tally with the reality. There's a gap there. Very good. The girl there.
So even though the all three dreams have different feelings, like one is positive and negative and neutral, they all are coming from the desire to have a cheesecake. Only the no? Cheesecake only, right?
The first one is not the desire for the cheesecake. The first one is the mother brought the cheesecake. Second one is the cat jumped over the cheesecake.
Yeah, but all of them are coming from the fact that there is cheesecake or that
Something related to cheesecake.
food involved.
Okay, something related to cheesecake, all three.
Only difference, there is similarity that there is desire to have that. Only difference is how the perception is making.
Good, good, good. The lady there.
You cannot choose these dreams. They come. You have another freedom to choose.
Okay. Perhaps I'm looking for this answer. Okay. How many you like to have the dream of having an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama? Raise hands. How many like to have a dream of having an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama? Raise hands. Not only audience, then in the dream, His Holiness invites Venerable Kunpen La, bring all of them for a cup of tea with me. How many are happy to have this dream? Raise hands. Wow, okay. How many of you will have this dream tonight? Raise hands. How many of you will have this dream tonight? Raise hands. Why not? It's a very pleasant dream. Why not? Why you are not raising hands? Why not? Raise hands, raise hands. Raise hands. Why not? The lady there. We cannot. Lucid dreaming. It doesn't matter. Even if it's not lucid dreaming, it's fine. Still you can have it. Why not? Yes. Okay, how many agree with, what's your name? Joanna. How many agree with Joanna? That we don't have the freedom to choose the dream. Resents. Pleasant dream, unpleasant dream, neutral dream. The one thing which is undesirable is that all these three dreams we don't have the freedom to choose. Lack of freedom is misery. You're getting it? Even the pleasant dream you don't have the freedom to choose. That is misery. What is that? Dream you don't have the freedom to choose. There's a lack of freedom. And lack of freedom is misery. And misery is samsara. You're getting it? This is what is samsara. Okay. So with this, they say dream. So all these, there's a lack of freedom there. So this lack of freedom, this is the final meaning of samsara. If somebody would ask you what is samsara, what is misery? Lack of freedom. Right? All miseries, they are just the manifestation of lack of freedom. Right? For example, somebody suffering in Ukraine because of this war. And what is lack of freedom? They want the freedom not to suffer, but they're suffering. There's lack of freedom. And somebody who wants to go in the sun, and yet bell rang, Joshua rang the bell, and then come inside, right? You don't have the freedom not to be, right? You don't have the freedom to be in the sun at that time, right? Okay. So, what is suffering? Suffering is lack of freedom. And lack of freedom can be of any form. For example, the first dream, where the mother brings cheesecake for you. That being so pleasant, you will never describe that as suffering. But in true sense, if you explore deeper, you see that there's a degree of loss of freedom there. Because you cannot choose this dream. It happened, but you don't have freedom to choose this dream. Even though it's a very pleasant dream, but you don't have freedom to choose the dream. So this dream is affected by the lack of freedom to choose, lack of freedom. That lack of freedom is suffering. So even this happiness is mixed with suffering. Yes.
But you don't have to be in control to feel freedom.
Say it again.
But you don't have to be in control to feel freedom.
Can you give an example?
Yes, sometimes to be in control is a lack of freedom. Like to be too much control of something, or the fact that we don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So some people are very dominating, very controlling. That itself is suffering for himself or herself. Right? You try to control somebody else so much, and that is self. Right? You have to always keep an eye on that person. Right? You don't have freedom to relax. You have to always keep an eye on that person. Hey, don't do this. Come on this time, do this, do that. So that is self-suffering, and creating suffering for others and suffering on yourself, right? I don't think Putin is enjoying cheesecake. He's always thinking about how to missile this. He does not have time to enjoy the cheesecake. 100%. Creating pain on others and creating pain on yourself. Yes, over there.
So what's happening when people do dream yoga? Because I heard that they go into their dreams, they either predict what dream's going to come up, or they go into and make small manipulations. Is that true or not?
Okay. For time being, let's say the dream yoga, let's keep that away for the time being. If you're really interested, we'll discuss this when you get a good picture of what emptiness is. You're getting it? Good pictures of what freedom is. What is the meaning of fearlessness? You're getting it? We'll discuss this later. Particularly those of us who are already exposed to Buddhist philosophy, right? Don't try to bring your own complications here. But in this class, because there are so many beginners, and if I go into this, then the beginners will get lost.
Can I just ask one question there, to clarify? Are you saying that nobody has control of their dreams, or just we don't as conventional people?
No. Just say generally. You're getting it? Generally. When I say that if you eat food, your hunger will go away. But if you eat the first momo, right, your hunger will not go away. You have eaten food. It does not apply to everything. A general presentation and specific, these two should be, the distinction should be made. You're getting it? Do you understand it? That, I say, the dreams, in your case, okay, the Buddha, okay, we are not talking about the Buddhas. In your case, you had pleasant dreams in your life, raise hands. Unpleasant dreams, raise hands. Neutral dreams. In all these three cases, let's say 99% of your dreams, you have no control. You have no choice. Raise hands. Relate to yourself. Relate that to yourself, your life. Then this philosophy will make sense. If you don't relate this to yourself, then you will never become good at philosophy. The real philosophy will be very profound only when you relate it to yourself. And whatever you say, it makes sense rather than mimicking somebody, copying somebody, reading some books. Oh, in the book it said like this. No, this is not how you study philosophy. Well, it is said like this, but I'd like to first check it before I talk about it. You're getting it? Okay. So with this, all contaminated things are suffering nature. So what is contamination? The contamination is where your mind is affected by the three families of afflictions: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Okay. The first one, of course, you see that your mind is involuntarily pulled in. The first case with the cheesecake, your mind is involuntarily pulled by the dream cheesecake. Yes, that is involuntary pull. You have no choice rather than being pulled. Involuntary pull. Then, in the second case, where the cat jumps over the cheesecake, your mind is involuntarily pushed. Right? So in the first and second case, we see that there's involuntary pull and push. If somebody suddenly grabs you, right, and then do like this, pull and push like this, what will you say? No human rights. Human rights violation, right? Because I don't have freedom. He's taking away my freedom, right? Pull and push. So actually, what makes the pull and push is your own afflictions. Attachment involuntarily pulls you. Anger involuntarily pushes you, right? So involuntary pull and push is happening by attachment, anger. We never complain about the human rights violation. But when somebody does it, you say human rights completion, human rights violation. So the real violation is done by your own afflictions, attachment and anger. What about the third one, neutral dream? What's the problem with the neutral dream? Anyone? Well, the first and second is involuntary pull and push is there. Involuntary means involuntary has a connotation of loss of freedom. You don't have freedom. Yes? Involuntary means loss of freedom. But what about the third dream, where your mind is neutral?
Still involuntary.
How?
Because you didn't seek it to be in any state. I mean, you're still dreaming about something which is coming up involuntarily.
So even that state, there's a problem is that you are seeing the dream as real. That is ignorance. You're getting it? You're seeing the dream as real, and then you cannot come out of that. Coming out of that, okay, which is the best? Let's say the first one, where, say your mother bringing cheesecake for you. Second case, the cat jumping over the cheesecake, and you try to chase the cat, and the cat punches you like this, the face all made the injured, right? And you're so angry. And the third moment, right? Okay, finally you go to hospital, you're okay, you're calm. And fourth moment, your mother wakes you up. Oh, it's just dream. Which of the four you prefer the most? Tell me. Huh? Second one, where the cat jumps. You won't like it. So that you can fight with the cat. Right? To fight with the cat, you don't have to let the cat jump. You just chase a cat, right?
It's because you react and they don't want to.
That is the fourth one. There's the fourth one. The first one is the mother bringing cheesecake. You're so excited. Second one is cat jumping on this, and the cat and you fighting, and the cat scratches here. And the third one, you are calm. And the fourth one, you wake up. Your mother wakes you up. Of the four, which do you prefer the most? Tell me, be very honest. First one. Okay, the first one. Why did you go through the second one? It's because of the first one. You getting it? In the first one, there's a degree of lack of freedom. What is that? You don't have the freedom to choose the dream. Lack of freedom is there. How many want to keep the remote control in your hand when you are watching? Both of you, right? Why do you want remote control? Why? Why do you want to give it to a younger naughty boy, naughty brother? Why not?
I don't know. I'm used to the other control.
The remote control. Who want to keep the remote control in your hand? You don't want to give it to your younger brother who always watches cartoon.
But you have a freedom to choose what you want.
You have the freedom to choose, which means that you don't want the lack of freedom. Even with the first dream, there's a lack of freedom. That you don't have the freedom to choose the dream. You're getting it? That's the problem. That's the problem. So the wise people, so because of the first dream, the second dream is terrible. Right? Second dream is because of follow-up of the first dream. If the cheesecake issue was not there, if the mother did not bring the cheesecake, then the cat will not jump off the cheesecake. Right? It's because the mother brought the cheesecake, the cat jumps over it, and then you got all these fights. It's because of the cheesecake. Right? So the first one has a problem, repercussion. The second one is a result of that. And on top of that, even for the first moment itself, there's a degree of lack of freedom. You don't have freedom to choose this dream. Okay, how many will have cheesecake on the 1st January or the 10th of January of 2025? Makes sense? Hey, why not? It's not a dream. In real life, I'm talking about. How many of you will have cheesecake on the 10th of January 2025? Makes sense? Huh? No, how many of you will have? I'm not saying that how many of you like to have it. Right? Huh? Why not? Why not? We cannot predict it. You cannot predict what will happen tomorrow. Forget about 2025. Whether 2025 comes first or tomorrow comes first, we are not sure. Right? Your tomorrow, whether you'll see tomorrow or whether you'll see 2025, you will never know. Whether you will not see tomorrow or you will see 2025, we are not sure. You getting it? So there's a great degree of loss of control. No control is there. Lack of control is suffering. This is samsara. Okay, we're not talking about the dream. Dream was okay. So therefore, even what we call as the waking state, this is also like a dream. In that sense, you cannot decide what you're going to do in 2025, 10th of January, whether you're going to have the cheesecake or not. You cannot say at all. So this is lack of freedom. So with this is the meaning of all contaminated things are suffering. In other words, all what is contaminated by the afflictions, that is a loss of control there. Loss of control. And the loss of control is loss of freedom, I would say. Loss of freedom. Loss of freedom is misery. That is the meaning of all contaminated things are suffering nature. Okay. And the suffering nature, there are three kinds. There are three kinds of suffering. What are they? Okay, some of you are already familiar with the three kinds of suffering.
Attachment, aversion, and ignorance.
Sorry?
Attachment, family perversion.
These are three afflictions, not the three sufferings. Three kinds of suffering.
Suffering to change, and pervasive suffering.
Good, thank you. There are three kinds of suffering. Suffering change, and a pervasive condition suffering. There are three kinds of suffering. So when you say all contaminated things are suffering nature, what is contaminated by the afflictions will necessarily take you into the suffering, any of the three forms of suffering. Three forms of suffering. And some people, they think that the Buddha taught that everything is suffering. This is a total naivety. Buddha never taught everything is suffering. Some people, they openly give public talks saying that the Buddha taught that everything is impermanent, everything is suffering. No, that's not true. The person did not understand the number 4. What is number 4?
Transcending sorrow.
Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. The person did not know this. So there is a total freedom there. You can attain total freedom, transcending sorrow. You can transcend sorrow. Transcend sorrow. Say, of the four, say cheesecake dream, the cat jumping off the cheesecake dream, then in the dream you feel okay, calm, then you wake up. Of the 4, which actually transcends all stains, all loss of freedom of the dream, which of the 4 transcends? The 4th one. So how the 4th one makes you transcend all the limitations of the dream? How did it help you? Dogala? By waking up from the dream. You wake up from the dream and the dream stops. Dream stops, and this is where the dream could not affect you anymore. So the whole remote control is in your hand. The dream doesn't affect you. Remote control is in your hand. Total freedom is in your hand. That is a transcendence of sorrow. This is absolute peace. So if ever in your life you meet with some people who give public talks and tell you that, oh, in Buddhism everything is suffering, you say, no, that's not true. That is what is known as the transcending sorrow is absolute peace. You're getting it? You have to remember this. And also the Buddha did not teach that everything is impermanent. Only the composite things are impermanent. They are non-composite phenomena also. Non-composite phenomena, they're not impermanent, they're permanent. Right? And I'm sure in your group discussions, you can discuss on what is a non-composite phenomena. And those people who are already exposed to this concept, the non-composite phenomena, permanent phenomena, you try to share with them. And if you still have issues or problems, bring this up in the class. I'll be happy to explain to make things clearer. Okay. So we have what? All contaminated things are of suffering nature. And if you seriously think about the suffering nature, it's acutely painful. And if we learn, so as an immediate measure to combat the fears of life, is try to learn how to look at things from a broader picture, from a broader spectrum, in time and in space. The time not just like 5 years, 2 years, 3 years together, or like okay after 10 years, after 20 years, after 50 years, after 100 years. Think of that more. Then you see that what is all the tragedies that you meet with in this life, you see that they are not really so a big deal. This is what is bound to happen. It's fine. So you can prepare more for the future. The more you're prepared, more confident you are. You will not be affected by the immediate, the problems. This is number 1. And then number 2, the emptiness experience. So which we're going to discuss very quick. Okay, I will take another like 6 or 7 minutes now. And so from this, what we learned is that in all these forms, the 3 parts of dream, the pleasant dream, unpleasant dream, neutral dream, in all these three dreams, the one problem is the lack of freedom. You understand it? You agree with me? One problem which holds true across the 3 dreams is that lack of freedom is there. You agree? Okay. How is it? Okay, I like to double check with you. I don't trust you easily. Whether you said yes, yes. I don't know whether you are saying yes, yes, or you are misusing yes, yes, stop it now. If you're yes, 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 stop it now, then you are not actually paying attention to what I'm saying. So my question to you is how the first dream has the element of lack of freedom. Anyone? Raise hands. Gentleman here? Yes. You did not choose. You don't have the freedom to choose that dream. It's a pleasant dream, but you're not sure whether you will have this pleasant dream the next moment, tomorrow, after tomorrow. So which means that you don't have freedom to choose the dream. Very good. In what way the second dream has the element of lack of freedom? Anyone? Second dream, where the cat jumps over the cheesecake and then you have a fight with the cat. How there's a lack of freedom?
Lack of freedom because you haven't chosen the cat to do that.
Yes, you didn't want the cat to do it, but the cat did it, right? But the cat did it. Okay, so you don't want it, and it happened. So that is, you don't have freedom. Very good. And what about the third dream? Where you're calm, peaceful, okay, it's fine, right? Yes.
Because it's still involuntary.
How?
Because you didn't choose to have that dream as well.
So even that, you have a belief that this is real. Well, it is not real. It's not objectively real. You see it as real, right? So you don't have freedom not to believe that it is not real. Okay, so we see that in all these dreams, there's a lack of freedom. So how to come out of this? How to gain your freedom completely? Wake up. Wake up. What's the next question? How what? How not to wake up? How what? Give me the complete sentence. How to wake up? How to wake up? This question. Okay. How to wake up? So the third line says, okay, so the waking up, what metaphor did we give for waking up? Okay, by the way, waking up is the metaphor. So what is the main meaning behind that?
Seeing things as they really are.
Seeing things as they are really, what do you call that? Wisdom, right? Somebody said, he has said also. Yes. So cultivate the wisdom to see things as they are. You're getting it? Okay. What is a wisdom? Opposite of wisdom is ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance is the mind which stops you from having the vision of the reality. Ignorance is the mind which stops you from having the vision of the reality. So what is the wisdom? The wisdom is the discerning mind whose apprehension to object tallies with reality. What is wisdom? Wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the next question? Hey, I defined what the wisdom is. Wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the next question? What is the reality? You are getting it? What's the reality? The reality is the third seal. What is the third seal? Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. So when do you realize that the contents of the dream cheesecake, the dream cat jumping off the dream cheesecake, these are all coming from a mind as subjectively coming from the mind. When do you realize this? When you wake up. When you wake up. So that we have to realize that everything is the nature of emptiness. Emptiness meaning everything is empty from the object. They're all coming from the subject. This is what we have to realize. Everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. That everything, does nothing exist objectively. Everything is empty from the object. Everything is coming from your subject. This is what you have to realize. When do you realize that? In the dream or waking up? Hey, waking up. So what's the benefit of this? What's the benefit of waking up? What's the fourth seal?
Transcending sorrow.
Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. You transcend all the sorrows that come from the dream. You transcend this. Which dream? Conventional dream as well as the unconventional dream. So there, nothing in the conventional world can affect you anymore. When you realize that everything is all the projection of one's own mind, everything is empty from the object. When you realize this, then you wake up. You wake up, you are not being affected by anything in the conventional dream as well as the unconventional dream. So that is when you transcend the likes and the dislikes. You transcend, you reach to the level of the transcendental happiness, transcendental joy. This is known as the absolute peace, where your mind has gained total freedom. That is the absolute peace. Okay, what's the next question? How do you transcend it by waking up? How do you wake up? You're getting it? That's for tomorrow. Okay, good. We'll do a quick introduction prayer. Okay, we'll turn to page, short dedication prayer, page 52. Page 52. Let us pray that the war in Ukraine comes to an end as soon as possible. Let us pray that all these border tensions everywhere in the world come to an end, where the leaders they gain sanity in their thinking, and that the common people they get more wisdom to choose the correct leaders. And let's also pray that all the people who died to COVID-19, let's pray that they take favorable rebirth to meet with the teaching on Bodhicitta, unconditional love of the Bodhicitta, to bring the infinite happiness, and the wisdom of emptiness, to wake up from sleep of ignorance, to experience the total fearlessness within oneself, and to all other dear sentient beings. Let's pray that this teaching on the wisdom of emptiness and the Bodhicitta, the unconditional love, thrive in the minds of all the dear sentient beings. And let's also pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, who is the only leader who is thinking of the world at large, that His Holiness live eternal long, and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. Okay, I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of the Buddhists and the Bodhisattvas all 3 times, and to the beholding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in the true stages. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata